Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick Lexus, and Burdick BMW postgame show with Giovanni Heater.
Another tough one in the Dome for Syracuse football as the Orange fall at the hands of the Pitt Panthers. 30-13, the final score in primetime under the lights of the JMA. An unfortunate one for Syracuse football. Rivalry game. Felt like a must-win in so many ways. We talked about that heading into this thing for Syracuse football. And the Orange just unable to get it done against Pitt. Syracuse's offense never really got going in this game. Syracuse's defense, honestly, was fairly stout throughout the majority of the ball game and certainly felt like it gave the team a chance to win. But the offense sputters. Coaching decisions left question marks in many of our heads. And the Orange have dropped 3 straight. Did not come out strong out of the bye week. 315-437-7644 is the number to call. Please give us a ring. We already got people on the phone line. We're going to get to these calls as soon as possible. Just moments away, we'll hit that phone line. We already got people ready to chat, ready to air their grievances about Syracuse's 30-13 loss at the hands of Pitt. 315-437-7644 is the number. This was a puzzling one. And it never got off on a good foot right from the get-go. Ricky Collins, on his first passing attempt of the game, throws an interception, and you're sitting there almost laughing after having an entire week to prepare in the bye that is how Cuse comes out of the gate. And to follow it up, they allow a nearly 40-yard scramble untouched for an 18-year-old freshman quarterback to take it to the house and score a touchdown. You blink and it's 7-0 Pittsburgh. And that's how the game started. And it never really was a ship that was righted from there on out. A lot to talk about, a lot to unpack, but I do want to get to our phone line here because I know that our fans certainly have a lot that they want to chat about as well when it comes to this 30-13 loss for Syracuse against Pittsburgh. So with that, we're going to go to the phone lines. We got Jake in Iowa on the line. Jake, how's it going, man?
Hey, Gio, thanks for taking my call. Listen, I think my referee was on TV so much, I'm pretty much expecting him to be in the next Marvel movie. Look, we all know Ricky Collins makes Steve Angeli look like Steve Young. We know that. But there were a lot of drop passes, and I'm looking at you, Eugene Willis. There were a lot of drop passes that could have made him look bad to a little better. And for all the flags that were thrown out there, it was the one that didn't get called. With 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they don't call that pass interference, which was obvious. It was obvious to all the players in the field. They pretty much stopped playing because they were expecting pass interference, and so was I. And that was the backbreaker, I think. That and the end of the first half. Go ahead and talk about the end of that first half because that was awful. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, appreciate you checking in, Jake, all the way from Iowa. So we always appreciate that. So thank you, Jake. I'm with you 100% of the way. You teed up the end of the first half, so let's go in that direction. You also teed up the penalties and the referees having a big impact on the game. It was a penalty fest out there. 25 combined penalties. 25 combined penalties for 221 total yards. 13 penalties for 114 for Pittsburgh. 12 penalties for 107 yards for Syracuse. And on top of the penalties, I mean, there's a reason we're getting on the air at 11:20, and it was as soon as the game ended. It's because there was also a ton of injuries in this game. It felt like there were 30 stoppages of play because of injury between the two teams. A lot of it felt like it was Pittsburgh. That doesn't matter. It's not It's not what I'm getting at all. It just, this game did not have pace to it when it comes to the penalties, the injuries. It was slow. It stopped a lot. Never really got into a rhythm. But the penalties, 25 penalties is pretty crazy. You talked about the end of the first half. Paul, I'll give you the sign, the all go right now. You might want to clip this one. I think that this was probably the worst coaching display we've seen out of Fran Brown so far in his tenure at Syracuse. And I say that by backing it up with the fact that I think Fran Brown is 100% the guy here. I think he has everything it takes to succeed at Syracuse. I think he is perfect for not only the city, but the program, the university. Like, Fran Brown is exactly what Syracuse football needs. And it should be a massive priority to keep him around. And he has been tremendous for the community to get behind. But this was the first time in Fran Brown's young career, I will remind everybody, very young career, that I felt like Fran coached a game as if he was a fairly inexperienced first-year head coach. And the end of the first half and how that situation was handled was a really big reason as to why. The end of the first half, Syracuse gets the ball, about 40 seconds left in the half. You're down by a score. You can essentially run the ball out and say, let's just cut our losses in the first half, take this thing to the locker room, regroup, and go at it for half number 2. I don't see Pittsburgh using, they did have 3 timeouts. I don't see Pittsburgh using their timeouts there to try and stop the clock and try and gain an extra possession. Like, there's just such little time. Like, I think you run it up the middle on first down, see what you do with it. If you break off a nice one, all of a sudden the whole mantra changes, right? But you're starting deep in your own territory. The field position was far from great in order to make a scoring opportunity happen. And instead, Syracuse goes out there and they choose to throw the ball on 3 consecutive plays, essentially taking little to no time off of the clock, and then forcing themselves into a position with about 18 seconds left. You have to punt the football. There should have been no world where Pittsburgh was ever going to touch that football again at the end of the first half when Syracuse got it with between 30 and 40 seconds left. Just should not have been in the cards at all if the time was handled properly at the end of the half. And if it's a scoring fest and you're out there and you're trading blows and your offense has shown an ability to really move the ball, chunk plays down the field, get points on the board, okay, maybe you try and make something happen with 40 seconds. But when your offense hasn't shown a pulse and your only points came from an interception that got you in the red zone to start, and you've shown no ability to move the ball throughout the first half, what made that coaching staff think that it was a bright idea to try and pass the ball 3 times and go score in a 40-second span? I just you didn't move the ball the entire first half. So how was it going to automatically just click and you were going to be able to get these chunk plays and go put points on the board in 40 seconds? Like, I can appreciate the aggressive nature and you want to use every second, but the last thing you could afford to do was give Pitt the ball back with time to put points on the board. And not only did that happen, it's not like you punted it and then they still had to go earn it and go get a field goal or something. Like, the most catastrophic outcome of that situation came to fruition by Syracuse punting it with 18 seconds left, and they return the punt for a touchdown, leaving 2 seconds left on the clock in the first half. And at that point, instead of being down 10-7, you're down 17-7. I mean, it changed the entire game. It changed the entire game from that point on. The game was never the same after that. Because Syracuse, so many times in the second half, you sat there and said, man, they wouldn't have given up that punt return for a touchdown at the end of the first half. It's a one-possession game. Everything feels different about the situation. But instead, you dug the hole, and that was on Fran. That was on Fran and the coaching staff. Late game situations, late half situations, clock management situations, decision-making situations across the board. That really can't happen. That was a scenario where I just felt like Fran put on display that he was a first-time head coach. And I'll tell you the same thing. I'm sure he's going to talk about it in the press conference. I don't have any doubt about that. And again, I'm like I love Fran. I love Fran Brown. Think he is awesome. Think he's everything Syracuse needs. I want to hammer that home. But I did think that played a huge factor in this game. The decisions that were made at the end of the first half. Pitt made the most of it. And they house call on a punt that they should have never had the opportunity to touch the ball. A little bit more on the coaching decisions out of Fran and how I felt like he was a bit novice in this game. But we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I want to go through some of the box score here because there's some fascinating stuff. And Syracuse really did get dominated. I felt like a lot in this game. We're going to give our props to the defense. I think the defense deserves its flowers. The offense held Syracuse back a lot in this game. We'll take a break. Today's show brought to you, as always, by Point Guard Advisors, Charles Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. When we come back, some more coaching blunders, props to the defense, a look at the box score, and more to discuss. And we'll have Fran Brown live press conference in our post-game coverage as well. As always, it's the Burdick Toyota, Burdick Lexus, Burdick BMW, Burdick Ford post-game show. It's right here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
Did you miss Drive Time with Tim Leonard? Well, here's what you missed.
The question I would like to pose to you guys out there listening right now, a lot of you had the takeaway on Monday, oh, he's gone. Oh, no, this is a nightmare. This is not the Fran Brown we had on the opening day press conference. A lot of you were disappointed and discouraged by how we handled the question on Monday. Hearing that today, on Thursday, on Orange Nation, has your opinion changed?
Drive Time with Tim Leonard, 5 to 6 on ESPN Syracuse.
Attention Syracuse! Romano Subaru has two amazing offers that make it more affordable than ever to get into a new Subaru. Like the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Premium. Lease yours for just $229 a month. Yes, just $229 a month. You get a moonroof, power driver's seat, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, plus lane departure warnings, blind spot detection, and like all Subarus, all-wheel drive. All for only $229 a month. Prefer more bells and whistles? Upgrade to the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Limited for just $269 a month. You get the same equipment plus leather interior and more, just $269 a month. Your choice, Syracuse. You win either way. Offer SRB 14, SRF 32, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year, 15 cents excess mileage fee, $49.95 total down. Must be approved Tier 1 through SMF. Romano Subaru, Consumer Reports #1 mainstream brand, Hiawatha Boulevard West in Syracuse. Shop 24/7 at RomanoSubaru.com.
Hi, it's Jenny Bagels with Bagelicious of Bayberry. Bagelicious is making it quick and easy to place your online order, pick up, and get on with your day. We are locally owned and operated in the heart of Bayberry. So don't forget, Bagelicious breakfast and lunch are always fresh and made to order. And remember, Bagelicious is still the home of the 15 bagel dozen. Visit BageliciousBagels.com. That's BageliciousBagels.com. Shop local and come on in. Bite the bagel. Bagelicious of Bayberry, Route 57, Bayberry Plaza.
We're clearing them out this fall. The big used car and truck warehouse clearance event is going on now. 500 SUVs and trucks, most priced under $30,000. Select from over 100 vehicles priced below $20,000. Our buyers want your car. We're giving generous trade-in appraisals. 600 pre-owned available. Clearance price for fall. All in one location. At the used car and truck warehouse and everywhere at Drivers Village. See more at driversvillage.com.
Are you looking to host a corporate luncheon, a wedding reception, or even a backyard barbecue? Let Chef Jeff take care of all your catering needs. Whether you're craving tender ribs, hot off the grill, succulent seafood, or hearty comfort food favorites, they've got the perfect dishes for everyone. Don't need catering? They also offer takeout. Let Catering by Chef Jeff bring the flavors of their creative mind to your next event. Find them on Facebook to discuss your catering needs and let them make your gathering a Chef Jeff experience.
When a crash throws your life off track, you need a team that gets it. At William Attar, we focus on car accidents, and we know how to guide you through the tough stuff. Our team fights to get you what you deserve, so you're not stuck handling it alone. We're here 24/7, and if you can't come to us, we can come to you. Hurt in a car? Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, or visit williamattar.com.
Football season is here, and so are some great deals at Burdick Ford of Central Square. Burdick Ford is your locally owned and operated place to go, with staff focused on customer service to help you find the perfect deal. Gear up for winter with a new or used SUV or truck from Burdick Ford. You want confidence that you are making the right choice, and Burdick Ford will give you that confidence. Visit Burdick Ford today, just off exit 32 on 81 in Central Square, or at burdickford.com. DG Plumbing and Mechanical has served Central New York since 2018, handling everything from water heaters to full remodels with expert same-day service. This October, join DG Plumbing at the 10th anniversary Stop the Hate Show, October 18th at 1812 on the River in Watertown, featuring Saving Abel, guest speakers, food trucks, and more. Call 315-456-9814 or visit dgriffinplumbing.com. DG Plumbing, serving homes, supporting change.
This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick Lexus, and Burdick BMW postgame show with Giovanni Heater.
Tough one for the Cuse as they fall in the Dome, 30-13, the final score at the hands of the Pitt Panthers. Offensive struggles continue for Syracuse football. Well, at the same time, the defense has one of its better performances, I would argue, throughout the 2025 season. Phone lines are open. 315-437-7644 is the number to call. Give us a ring. Chime in with your thoughts. And with that, we'll go right to the phone lines. Coming hot out of the break, we got our man Zachary in Syracuse. Zachary, how you doing?
Good. How are you, brother?
Hey, I'm doing well. I appreciate you ringing in, man. What are your thoughts on the game?
Man, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, they should have never touched the ball before halftime. You know, I think Fran Brown is amazing. He's, you know, obviously a leap and bounds better than Dino Babers, but I think Ricky Collins is his biggest coaching mistake. You know, I mean, he went 10 of 16 in the first half and then finished 16 of 32 with 3 interceptions. And I know McCord, you know, struggled last year against Pitt, but this was just Fran Brown shooting us in the foot himself. You know, and I agree with everything you said, you know, brutal showing, and I love Fran Brown, and I'll never turn on him. But my question is, where do you put Ricky Collins after this? And what do you think of the rumors of Fran Brown's, like, you know, off-season, you know, moving? Like, maybe he'll move to different teams, you know, like Penn State's been in the mix and, you know, some other teams like that. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the call, Zach. You know, it's tough because I think this is going to sound crazy. Honestly, I think Ricky Collins is playing Fran Brown right out of any of those conversations right now. Like, Fran's an elite recruiter, 10 wins last year. That's great. But, like, nobody's going to go banging the door down to try and steal Fran Brown away from Syracuse right now when they're losing week after week and kind of getting smoked 3 weeks in a row, right? Not super competitive in any of these 3 games here. That's just kind of the reality of what's going on right now. I don't think anybody's banging the door down to steal Fran at the moment because of what the product on the field has been. So, like, if you're a Cuse fan, you could almost take a sigh of relief in that because I do think Fran is a great coach. The future's so bright. I don't think this really derails any of that. I also think that Fran was probably like somewhere in the 6 to 8 range as far as on the list at a place like Penn State. Like, he wasn't the number 1 guy or the number 2 or 3 guy. I think he was probably in about the 6 to 8 range. I think there was an existing relationship there. Positive sides of that, negative sides of that, because of the history that he has with the Penn State athletic director, right? He's also a hot name on the market. I mean, he's a social media gold producing coach, right? He's new wave. He does it his own modern way. He's perfect for the direction that college football is going. So Fran's always going to be a hot commodity, if you will. But the proof is not yet fully in the pudding. Like, you're not going to go all in on one 10-win season with a NFL caliber quarterback and a really good roster. You're not going to go in on all that if you're a place like Penn State, right? Fran's probably, like I mentioned, 6th to 8th on their list, if I had to guess. And I don't know anything. That's my expectation there, right? But I think a lot of people would agree with that take. And then the other part of your question there, and again, I don't want this to turn into like bash on Fran night, but the other part of your take there about Ricky and where do you go with Ricky from there and things like that, right? And what does this have to do with Fran and Ricky and that situation? I think you like stick with Ricky at this point, because the one other point that I wanted to bring up, and I thought Fran looked like a first-time head coach and a second-year head coach who's never faced a challenge like this before, because he had his quarterback healthy for all of his first season and was never faced with a decision like this. I think that was the other spot where Fran went wrong in this game, was going to Luke Carney, then going back to Ricky. Like, you can't play musical quarterback. Like, it's not fair to either of them. It's just horrible for the confidence of either of them. And then on top of it, the situation that he went back to Ricky on, where he puts Ricky back in on a 3rd down and says, go get me a 1st down, and then the offensive line crumbles and he's sacked before he even had a chance. Like, that was I didn't fully like that take. We're going to go right to Fran Brown now. We got Fran, post-game press conference with the coach of the Orange. Here we go.
I'm happy that we had a chance to compete against them. I want to thank everyone that did come out to the game. Also our players, I thought they competed their butts off all the way to the end of the game. They did a real good job. So I was just happy that those guys were able to compete and finish the football game. That's really it that I have to say when it comes to that.
Question? We'll start right on the first, then with Dan on the left. Fran, it looked like when Pitt had the ball right before halftime, it looked like you were going to be conservative and just go into the half. What made you come out aggressive before that 3-and-out?
Just believing and having faith in our players. Thinking they have the opportunity. We work 2 minutes every day. We work the middleweight. That's the middleweight of the game. Being able to go in with points or the ball. It was a miscue on one of the something that happened. I don't want to really get into depth with it, but that was a bad decision by me, and not just running the football and then going to the half with the ball.
With the 3 passes, I mean, was there an RPO that got pulled and turned into a pass? That way it was 3 straight?
It was a screen, and he ran out of bounds on one where we got yards. There was another one, which it was, and he saw something a little bit different. But I made a bad decision right there. That was on me. Because, I don't want to go in deep with that. That was just really bad coaching. That's probably one of the worst things that I've done since I've been a football coach here. One of the decisions I made, I felt as though I should have ran the ball. We'd have ran the ball, we'd have won in 10-7. And I think that gave them too much momentum. My players worked too hard for me to make a decision like that.
Put Dan right here.
Fran, just the decision to bring in Luke Carney when you did, and then to shift back to Ricky Collins.
Just wanted to spark. I just be straight open with it when it comes to the quarterback position, right? We're very young at the quarterback. And we have to develop. We got to continue to develop. That was one of the reasons why I went and got Steve Angeli at the second portal, because we knew what we were young at. We knew we were young on the offensive line. That's why we went and got Austin Collins. We went and got Ferg, so that way those guys can come in. We went and got Rooks, right? There's a lot of guys that we went to get because we're young. We're super talented, but those guys are young, and they're not always ready to go in and play right away. And you see where we felt as though, see the difference in Steve and then the other guys getting a chance to play, but they're so young. This is Ricky's third game. Is he getting better in some areas? Absolutely. Are there some things that we want to be able to process and do a little bit better? Absolutely, we want to, but it's just the timing. Had a kid that was in college and literally took no reps for 3 years. When you're on a scout team, sometimes you're just looking at a car. So this is his first time getting the opportunity to get out there on the field, and I just got to do a better job of developing him and getting him ready to go. And things are going on, right? We got 5 games left of regular season. Hopefully we get 7, not 5, but we'll end up with 6 games left. And being able to have those 6 afterwards, it'll give us a chance to keep growing, give Luka opportunity of continuing to grow also, along with all the other guys.
And then as far as the defensive side of it, despite the loss, the defense created a lot of opportunities, gave a lot of chances. Just what you saw from there.
We're just going to go after the quarterback. Want to compete, want to make sure we go after the quarterback, and that's something that we'll do. I told you guys that last week after that second half of SMU, there was going to be a change. You'll see that, and you'll see how it's consistently going, and we'll continue to do that. Well, that's just going to be our style of play on defense.
For the other side, we'll start with Christian right on the end, and then go to Hayden in the middle.
Coach, on your defense, what did you see in the past 2 weeks that allowed them to have this type of performance today?
They just believing in each other, sticking together. Everybody's on the same page. It's a lot of work, and just do what they can play fast, right? A lot of people want 1,000,000 calls. I just think you need the ones that they know so they can play fast. But I think they're playing fast and they're playing together. They got a no-quit mindset.
Put Aiden right here in the middle, and then after that, Samantha on the TV platform.
Hey, Coach. Just what was your message to Ricky at halftime, and how did you see him respond from the change and then coming back when he came back in?
It was just a message to the team of just for them to continue to push. That I took away the momentum at the moment, and for him to they'll keep following him just keep doing the right thing, right? I don't really have a message to them to anything. Let's go out and put some points on the board.
Just how did you see him respond once he came back in?
He did okay. He made some good plays. He had some bad plays. We just got to keep getting better. He's in the developmental point right now, so we got to keep getting him better. We got to keep coaching him and coach him through stuff. I mean, it's like he's training on the job. In all reality, he's training on the job right now, and we'll keep growing. He'll keep getting better, and I'm thankful that he's here. I appreciate him going out there, working, and giving us his all day in and day out.
Hey, Coach, I just want to know if there's a lesson in these few losses that you faced recently. In other words, even though you didn't come out with a win, there's something your players can gain from this.
I think there's always lessons you learn from anything, whether it's winning or if it's losing, right, in life. But some of the lessons, I can't tell you what you're going to learn from it because you got to look in the mirror and you know what you've done right and what you've done wrong. The adversity piece of it is really good. It's good for leadership, for me, to be able to see and show you guys how I'll keep our football team together and how we'll continue to work and we'll continue to do things. You didn't see a sloppy team that didn't want to compete or play anymore, guys that quit. It was just sometimes you catch the bear catch you, right? And that's been going on with us the last few weeks. So, but I think you learn from everything, right? Sometimes it's when you watch the tape, you just learn that you become a little bit more tougher, a little bit more resilient. I think the players are naturally resilient. I'm the one that probably hurt a little bit more because you're older and they got a lot more games in their lives. It's not many more. As you get older, you start to see it a little bit different. But I'll make sure that we keep learning daily. We're just going to do that daily.
Right in front, and right over here on the end.
Fran, there was a third down play where you pulled Luke off the field for Ricky Collins for Ricky to throw in for.
Well, it just felt as though he ran that play a little bit more. It was a couple plays on call sheet that was set for Luke when he went in. And there were some other plays that was set for Ricky, and it was just the fact of the call sheet that we had set for him. It wasn't really meant for 39 and things of that nature at the moment. So we went to go with Ricky to put Ricky back in.
How much of the offense can Luke run at this point?
Not much. I mean, Ricky's. It's not like we don't have a large menu for Ricky either. Not much. We're in the developmental point of it, right? When it comes to the young quarterbacks and the things of that nature. So there's a lot that we're trying to do and trying to get rolling, and we'll get it back. You know, it'll work. It just takes time. It's a process. It's a process that sometimes you got to take some of the punches. Right? You kind of take some more of the punches than you give out, but eventually you'll be able to land more punches than you take.
WAR and then the league winner of the IL. Coach, I'm just curious, with Justice, how is he feeling with that ankle? I know
he should be good. We put him in to catch a fade. I say, hey, I need you to go in, catch this fade for us. And he ended up going in, but Justice will be good. Justice is a tough kid. He's ready to go compete. For me, right, I don't want guys going in and just gonna go play if they can't protect themselves, right? Some guys, hey coach, I could just take such and such and I'll be good. I don't want real structural damage, right, done to your body and things of that nature. So he wasn't able to go out there and compete and protect himself on the football field. So I decided him to wait, but I knew a fade was easy for him to be able to catch.
Just following up on that, do you feel like with the bye week last week and the progress he's been making, he'll be in a better position?
Yeah, be straight. He'll play next week. He should play next week.
Have you pass it right to the middle for Thomas there? I know it was Steve on the flash.
Hey, Coach, you're talking about, developing the young quarterbacks, kind of slowing the game down for them. Is there any potential chance that could incorporate splitting the reads into a split field read for Ricky and giving him less things to worry about post-snap?
Who said we're not doing that?
I guess that answers that question.
I'm just saying, who says that we're not doing that, right? We're trying to make the game as simple as possible. The object of the game is for us to win. Trying to slow it down, trying to do different things of that nature, right? So I think that Ricky will keep getting better, and we're going to keep doing what we need to do to put him in position to be successful as much as possible, and then want to do the same thing for Luke. Just want to do the same thing for all those guys, right?
And then on defense, the run defense looked great today. Can you just talk about the importance of responsibility and how
we talked about it all week. We had pursuit drills. There was a lot of things that we were doing in practice. It's been fun. It's been fun over there with Coach E and us just trying to really have an identity on defense. It was something that we talked about at halftime versus SMU. We said, no, we got to have identity, and I want it. This is what I'm looking for. This is what we're going to go do. Let's get this done. Me and him talked, and just some things that got done and some things that we're doing. And we're trying to create an identity on defense that's who we are and that's how we'll play. I was very impressed and thankful with the defense because even when we weren't able to go get points on offense, they just continue to go out there and play and play and play and play. And I see a lot of times where some guys they fold and they quit. They say it doesn't matter. Even to them scoring at the end when they were already in the red area, whatever the flag was and things of that nature. But it got all the way down to fourth down. And those guys were able to compete and still kept fighting. And it meant a lot to them to look in their eyes and to see the pain from losing. Hurt, but I do appreciate the effort that they went out there and the way they competed.
A couple more for Coach. We'll start with Steve on the left.
Coach, real quick follow-up on the quarterbacks before I get to my question. Should we anticipate Ricky's going to be the starter next week? Sounds based on what you're saying.
Yeah, we're going to practice and we're just going to see whatever is best for us to give us the opportunity. We got to go play Georgia Tech, right? And you let y'all tell it. Everybody said we're going to lose to Georgia Tech, so we got to put us in the right position. Though, honestly, for us to go and be able to compete and win that football game. So whoever going to give us the best chance of doing that, at the moment, Ricky is that guy. And if he continues to be that guy, then he'll be there. But then when it's time to go, we're just going to do everything that's needed to go and win that football game.
I just want to follow up on if you have a message for the fans. I think people were spoiled last year, 10 wins, and you think it's going to happen overnight. Can you speak to the process
it's not going to happen overnight.
I mean, I've said that we're building a program, right? And when you're building a program, it just happens that way, right? We brought in a lot of older veteran guys last year, and you can see that our philosophy, the game plan, all that stuff works. But you got to have the players that have experience, right? Sometimes experience is better than super talented guys. I got a lot of super talented young guys. I got offensive linemen, all the freshmen that are true freshmen right now that probably won't play this year. You got 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", 6'5", and all of them are 315 and bigger, right? All the receivers can run, all of those guys, right? We got a lot of 10-4, 10-5 guys here on campus. It's just the experience, right? We're trying to build the program the right way, so I could put them all out there, and it's still going to be the same plays, right? The same things, but when you look at some of the freshmen that aren't ready, Antoine, Demetrius, and then the list goes on the opposite side of the ball. Nisi's playing a lot right now. So those guys are starting to sprinkle in. So just imagine when those guys are sophomores and juniors on the field. And, I mean, look at the 26 recruitment class. They all here on campus. I know a lot of people think, well, y'all lost. They all going to come. We'll get all those guys to come, and then more different people go. We'll keep a top recruiting class in the country. We'll keep being able to do those things. So all I can say is keep the same energy, right? Just keep the same energy that you have for the team now. Keep that same energy later on as it changes or where it's going at.
And last year, we'll go one each to Giovanni.
Oh, man, we're going to ask Giovanni.
Fran, I was wondering if you had any updates on Austin Powers and Tracy on that.
I really don't. I don't have none right now. They didn't really come and tell me. I hope they're both well. They're tough, so if it's not broken or torn, they'll both play. I can say that.
And last one, Mark on you.
Hi, Coach. Ricky hasn't had a lot of success yet. About 2 minutes into the game, the crowd was booing.
Yeah.
What's your message to him? Does he hear the noise? Is your message to him to block out the noise? And that's going to be pretty discouraging, I would think.
My message to him, honestly, is I love you and none of them know you. Why concern yourself with a bunch of people that don't know you? I love you. I'm going to have you back. I'm also going on my message to them is I'm going to do what's best for the S and for Syracuse. I always make the best decision for Syracuse and for the S. He's a young kid who at the moment is the best quarterback that we have because our starting quarterback went down. You remember how it felt when we went and was able to beat Clemson and we were 3-1 and it was all snap, they're going to go and take it. Well, that was the reason that we went and got Steve because he wasn't ready yet. He has to jump in a little bit earlier than he should jump in. But if one of your kids jumped in and he wasn't ready yet, how do you want me to respond to him? So I just tell him I love him, keep your head up, and don't concern yourself with people you don't know.
I think the crowd is being a little unfair.
I think the crowd going to be the crowd. That's the game. I'd rather them boo me, though. They should be booing me for not being able to go out at halftime with the punt. Don't boo him, boo me. I understand that and boo myself on that for me trying to go and score a point. I mean, they want points. So then when you try to go get points, they want to boo. So I'm not really sure of what it is, but I don't think they should do that. That's not right. At least not yet, right? Let's give it some time and allow him to keep developing and growing and doing all the right things that are needed because he is a young student athlete. Right, he is here trying to live out his dream and have a bunch of fun and things of that nature. And football means a lot to him. You know, the kid loves the game of football. It's just didn't process yet as fast as you guys saw with the Kyle and with the Steve and Jelly. Is a little bit different. Sometimes it takes a little bit more for guys to process it. And we'll get around to it and it'll work. But I ask that you just come at me with it. Don't do that to him because we're going to need him next week. That makes sense.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Of the Syracuse football team after the 30-13 loss at the hands of Pitt. You know, a lot of stuff said there that, I mean, Fran, he's a smart guy and is doing this job, first of all, I think, well, and second of all, knows what he's doing, right? All the faith in the world in Fran. He's right. It comes down to having the players. And I think my biggest takeaway from that I would remind the fan base, there's 1 year that the New England Patriots didn't win the division of the AFC East in the NFL. And it was when Tom Brady tore his ACL in week 1. Team didn't even make the playoffs. Syracuse lost its quarterback. Things were looking awesome with Steve Angeli. He was leading the nation in passing. It's such a bummer. It's such a letdown. But he was the starting quarterback for a reason. And when you're building a program from the foundation, right? Think about all these freshmen that if they're making this kind of impressive impact as freshmen, imagine what they'll be by the time they're done here. Antoine Delorier, Demetrius Samuel, Jamie Tremble even on the young side, right? A lot of impressive stuff there. You gotta give him a shot. You gotta let him get his guys and get the depth there. And everyone's gonna argue you need to have a second quarterback. You need depth at the quarterback position. There are like 3 places in the country that you can point to and be like, yep, that team is still just as good with their backup quarterback in the game. It doesn't happen. It doesn't even happen in the NFL. It doesn't happen. There's a short list of elite talent for a reason, particularly at the quarterback position. I'm not trying to make excuses for this team. I'm just saying that there's a reason that the quarterback play has not been as good as it was under Steve Angeli. With that, we'll take a short break. When we come back, give us a ring. We'll chat about it. 315-437-7644. Syracuse falls to Pitt, 30-13, the final score in the Dome. Back after this on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
I'm William Attar. We see it every day. Good people facing tough challenges after car crashes. Insurance companies don't always deliver what's fair, but that's where we step in. Our team fights for you, working to get you the compensation you deserve. Don't let insurance companies fall short. Let us handle the fight. Hurt in a car? Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse. We're here when you need us most.
Smart buyers are choosing Toyota Gold Certified Used at Burdick Toyota. Choose a Toyota Certified Used Corolla, Camry, RAV4, Highlander, or Tacoma, including hybrid models. Then get today's best APR rate at Burdick Toyota in Cicero. At Burdick Toyota, all of our hand-picked pre-owned Toyota models offer terrific value for the money. And so do our other carefully chosen used rides. Find better used every day at Burdick Toyota in Cicero. Shop BurdickToyota.com.
Hiring now. The William George Agency for Children's Services is hiring today. Located in Freeville, New York, the William George Agency helps brighten future prospects and enhance opportunities for success for at-risk youth with both full-time and part-time openings, a generous benefits package, and an abundance of opportunity for growth and advancement. Start your career at the William George Agency today. Youth care specialists start at $24 an hour, and awake overnights start at $25 an hour. Apply online at WGA4children.org.
Driving a Jaguar is about experiencing luxury with soul, so don't lose that soul by driving an hour and a half for service and repair. Upstate Imports is your local Jaguar specialist, ready to revitalize your vehicle and get you back on the road where you belong. With Central New York's perfect driving weather in limited supply, now's the time to make sure your Jaguar is ready to enjoy every sunny mile. Skip the long drive. Experience the convenience and expertise of Upstate Imports, with locations in Baldwinsville and on Erie Boulevard in Syracuse.
When it comes to buying the right CBD product, there's a lot that's left to wonder.
Is it safe? Will it work? I'm wondering a lot.
The bud tenders at Leafy Wonders can help.
I wonder how they do it.
We're a licensed New York State dispensary, and we can take the wonder out of choosing the right product. We handpick the best quality, products that are safe.
With Leafy Wonders, I could wonder about other things.
Experience the wonders. Just off 481 on South 1st Street in Fulton. Online at leafywonders.com.
We're clearing them out this fall. The big used car and truck warehouse clearance event is going on now. 500 SUVs and trucks, most priced under $30,000. Select from over 100 vehicles priced below $20,000. Our buyers want your car. We're giving generous trade-in appraisals. 600 pre-owned available. Clearance price for fall. All in one location. At the used car and truck warehouse and everywhere at Drivers Village. See more at driversvillage.com.
This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick Lexus, and Burdick BMW postgame show with Giovanni Heater.
Another tough one at the Dome for Syracuse football. 3 straight losses for the Orange, 30-13. The final score as Syracuse falls to its rival Pittsburgh on a Saturday night. Primetime under the lights in the JMA. And a bummer for Cuse fans that was hoping coming out of the bye, this would be a team that would find ways to sort of right the ship. And unfortunately, that's not exactly what happened. Ricky Collins on the first passing attempt of the night throws an interception on one of the ensuing plays offensively for Pittsburgh, a third down. It ends up in a 30-plus yard house call on a quarterback scramble as Heinzel finds his way into the end zone untouched to put Pittsburgh up 7-0, and the game just kind of unraveled from there for Syracuse. But I do want to give some props to Syracuse's defense tonight. I think that there was a lot of heat coming at Elijah Robinson, the Syracuse defensive coordinator, for good reason. We talked about it here on this show. The defense had not been up to par for pretty much all of this season, and you could make a seriously strong argument that the defense was pretty porous last year, particularly in spot moments throughout the year. Had some strong second halves that allowed some comebacks, sure, but was covered up a lot by a prolific offense with a quarterback that led the nation in passing and scored a ton of points and was able to make up for your defensive shortcomings. That was last year. This year, the defense hadn't been super strong until tonight. Syracuse had not proven until tonight that they had an ability to get after an opposing quarterback. And a big key to the game in our pregame show was they had to get after this 18-year-old novice signal caller making his third start in Heinzel for Pitt. And they did just that. Brought the heat all night long. Syracuse finished with by far and away a season high 7 sacks on the night tonight defensively. 7 sacks for the Cuse. Big chunk of quarterback hurries. The Orange ended up with 12 tackles for loss against Pittsburgh. They were living in the backfield. And Mike and I talked about how we felt like there needed to be a return to form as far as the relentless edge on defense and the gang tackling and swarming to the ball and just the physical tone that Syracuse had set in the win down in Death Valley against Clemson. Felt like you needed to see that return tonight in order to walk away feeling good about the defense, the open field tackling. And I thought that transpired. I thought Syracuse displayed that tonight. And they were able to create a turnover as well with the interception by Kerr. So props to Elijah Robinson, props to the defense for showing improvement there. And it doesn't show a ton on the scoreboard because they still allowed 30 points, which is not great. But, I mean, the offense wasn't staying on the field. They lost the turnover battle 3-1. And I felt like the defense did a lot. I mean, they held Pittsburgh's total offense to 260 yards. That's not bad if you're Syracuse defense. That's actually quite good. I feel like net total yards 260 for Syracuse's defense. The offense for Cuse, that is where I feel like the biggest shortcomings came. We talked about the passing game. To break down some of the numbers a little bit further for you, though, Ricky Collins goes 16-32, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The guy has now thrown 8 interceptions in 3 games. That's not going to get it done at the power conference level if you're trying to win football games. 8 interceptions, 3 games. Threw an interception on the first passing attempt of this game against Pittsburgh, and sent a text. We're just joking around, the fellows that work here at ESPN Cuse, but it's like, okay, Ricky's now thrown 6 interceptions in 2.000001 games, right? Like that was just the reality of it. You were moments into the third game for Ricky Collins and he throws a pick, right? Luke Carney, felt like they didn't really let Luke throw the ball. He goes 2 of 3, 10 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, but like they didn't really even give him a shot to throw it. You look at the rushing numbers. Ricky did an okay job running the ball when it was, scrambling mode, trying to make stuff happen. 10 rushes, 37 yards. The sack yards obviously put a dent in that. Luke Carney, 3 rushes, 9 yards, along a 6. Ricky had along a 24. I mean, nothing crazy. The bigger problem here for me, and this is a good spot for our Improving the Team, brought to you by Auburn Community Hospital. Auburn Community Hospital, they are improving their team. Apply there today at auburncommunityhospital.org. Syracuse's run game's got to find a way to get going. Came into this game ranked 117th in the country. And I can appreciate and understand that the brand of the Jeff Nixon offense is we're going to throw the ball 40 to 60 times a game. And it's awesome when it works. It's fantastic when Kyle McCord is under center and when Steve Angeli's ripping it across the field, right? But that's not the reality right now. Ricky Collins doesn't have the same skill set. There's proof in that pudding. I feel comfortable saying that when the touchdown to interception ratio looks what it looks like, and he's thrown 8 picks in 3 games. And Luke Carney is an 18-year-old true freshman whose body isn't even quite there yet. When he throws the ball, it looks like he's really trying. Does that make sense? There's no effortless look to it in any way, shape, or form. And that's because he's 18. He's still growing into his body, getting into the strength and conditioning program. That's normal. There's a reason why true freshmen rarely start in college football. So you have to prop these quarterbacks in this passing game up for success by running the rock. And you have really, in my opinion, all-conference caliber running back with his skill set in Yassine Willis when it comes to running the football. I don't know what's wrong with Yassine when it comes to catching balls out of the backfield. He really struggles with that. He's struggled with it all year. A lot of drops out of the backfield. Today, he had a moment where he was so frustrated with himself for dropping it. He goes to the equipment staff and says, take the visor off, and is kind of throwing a little bit of a fit on the sideline is really the best way to put it. It wasn't a great look, but it was about the visor and couldn't see and whatever. But he is a monster when he's running the rock. And there's no arguing that. He's super impressive when he gets those legs churning. But whatever the scheme is or the run blocking, the run game is not there. Syracuse goes 32 carries tonight for 76 yards. They averaged 2.4 yards a carry against Pittsburgh. Longest run of the night was 24 yards. It was a scramble by Ricky Collins. Longest true run for a running back tonight, Yassine Willis had a 6-yard carry. Non-existent in running the football for Syracuse. And I didn't feel like they were playing so far behind until really the fourth quarter that you weren't in a spot where you could run the ball. They just didn't have success. They were running the ball on 1st and 2nd down. There just wasn't success doing it. Thought coming out of the bye there would be a strong emphasis on, okay, let's take some of the pressure off of Ricky Collins' shoulders and find ways to effectively run the football. And it didn't pan out tonight. Feel like you still have 5 games to show that you can do it, but it's got to be a part of Syracuse's recipe for success the rest of the way. Another thing that stood out big to me, no big plays. None for Syracuse tonight. Quite honestly, almost 0. A big play constitutes as a passing play of 15 or more yards and a running play of 10 or more yards. Passing plays of 15 or more yards happened once. A 26-yard pass on the free play where Collins gets it to Jonte Cook. He makes that essentially diving catch, and they get the first down. That's with 8 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter, trying to make something. I mean, the game was over before you had a downfield pass of more than 15 yards. And then running the ball, you had 3. All 3 of them were scrambles. quarterback keepers, scrambles, Ricky Collins rushing to his right, Ricky Collins rushing to his left, Ricky Collins scrambling up the middle, one of them for 17 yards, one for 13, and the long of the night, 24 yards. They did not have a big play running the ball with a running back of 10 or more yards. Didn't happen. 3 of them, and they were all scrambles. Syracuse did not have any big play ability at all in this game. And to Syracuse's defense's credit, Pittsburgh didn't really have any huge plays. They did have a 36-yard run. That was the touchdown. Right off the rip, Mason Heinchel, the quarterback keeper, goes untouched. Then after that, they kind of locked in. An 18-yard run wasn't great. 19-yard run, 11-yard run, 13-yard run. No giant gash, though. Passing plays, really good for Syracuse. 24 yards was the long. Had a 20-yarder, a 17-yarder, and a 15-yarder. I mean, you're going to take that, especially when you end up with 12 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, an interception. I mean, it was a fairly decent day for the defense. And to the defense's credit, they just kept giving Syracuse's offense a chance and giving them a chance and giving them the keys and saying, please just get us there. Get us to the end zone. We're getting this Pitt offense off the field. Give us a shot. Just didn't happen tonight. And Syracuse falls 30-13 at the hands of the Pitt Panthers. When we come back, last chance to call in if you want to chat, and we will wrap up our post-game coverage here on Cuse Sports Talk at ESPN Syracuse. The number to ring is 315-437-7644. 30-13, the final score in the Dome. Pitt takes down Syracuse. This is Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
John Frost & Sons Furniture and Flooring are proud supporters of Syracuse football radio coverage. We are the pulse of the orange. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
Shopping for your next vehicle, but feeling overwhelmed? Seems like dealerships are all about flashy gimmicks and tricky pricing. But not at RomanoCars.com. It's refreshing to just get the lease or buy prices I need, or actual pictures of a car's interior. It's like the Romanos went out of their way to be as straightforward as possible. Gotta love that.
She's right, Syracuse. The RomanoCars.com browsing experience is stress-free and simplified, with intuitive search options, clear pricing, and all the details you need. That includes high-def photos taken by the Romano team photographer, Austin. Best of all, there's an entire local team dedicated to giving you just the facts about vehicles that catch your eye. At Romano Chrysler Jeep, Nate is your go-to specialist. Over at Mercedes-Benz of Syracuse, Steven knows luxury vehicles inside and out. At Romano Ford and Volkswagen, Jacqueline is ready to help. They're all just a chat, text, email, or call away. Car shopping is simplified, smart, and backed by real local experts at RomanoCars.com.
I'm William Attar. A car crash can change your world in an instant, leaving you with questions and challenges. That's why our compassionate team is here for you 24/7, providing guidance and fighting tirelessly for the compensation you deserve. We're committed to helping you every step of the way. Hurt in a car? Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse, or visit williamattar.com.
When looking for the one, we all want something different. Some want reliability, others look for excitement. Some like stylish, others go for sporty, compact, or cargo space. You know we're talking about your perfect BMW certified vehicle, right? With 100% genuine BMW parts, the BMW certified warranty, and a nationwide dealer network, your ultimate match might just be the ultimate certified machine.
Visit Burdick BMW at Drivers Village in Cicero or BurdickBMW.com.
Large portions, amazing prices, boom boom Mex-Mex Taqueria. Authentic Mexican food with flavors so big and portions so large, we gotta say it twice. The only thing that's small are the prices. Everything's made fresh in-house daily. And Boom Boom Mex-Mex Taqueria doesn't upcharge for guacamole or other toppings. Our goal is simple, to make delicious food with booming flavor. Corner of Howlett Hill and Corporal Welch and Camillus, and on Facebook. Boom Boom Mex-Mex Taqueria.
Syracuse Bicycle. Ride bikes, have fun, feel good. good. We carry products we love, provide hospitality to our customers, and change the world by getting more people on bikes. Syracuse Bicycle is the locally owned, largest bicycle shop with passionate staff ready to help you have fun and feel good on your new bicycle and e-bike. Test ride top brands today at Syracuse Bicycle. Not everyone can ride their bike everywhere, but everyone can ride their bike somewhere. 2540 Erie Boulevard East, or visit us at syracusebicycle.com today.
Hello, Syracuse. Dave Anthony here for Romano Ford, where Joe and Mike Romano have taken service to a whole new level, starting with the popular mobile service van. You've seen it in your neighborhood, around town. Now it's your turn to try it. The next time you need recall work or light maintenance on your Ford or Lincoln, just call or visit RomanoCars.com to schedule the mobile service van. Certified Ford techs come to your home or business to care for your vehicle, and this is at no extra charge. Another way the Romano brothers up the ante for Ford and Lincoln drivers, their DC fast charging station at Romano, conveniently located near Fayetteville Town Center. Need a charge on your Ford or Lincoln EV, or any EV brand for that matter? Hop over to Romano Ford. Whether you're a longtime Romano customer or you bought elsewhere, we invite you to experience service the way it should be from Romano Ford, North Burdick Street in Fayetteville.
This is the Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, Burdick Lexus, and Burdick BMW postgame show with Giovanni Heater.
Wrapping up your post-game coverage late night on a Saturday. Actually, it's Sunday now. We've officially turned the clock to Sunday as Syracuse falls to Pittsburgh 30-13. The unfortunate final score in the Dome as Syracuse falls in a rivalry game to the Panthers. It marks 3 straight losses for Syracuse, and the Orange will look to try and right the ship on the road in Atlanta against Georgia Tech next week. Just to wrap up some of the thoughts if you missed it, and this is the last chance to call in if you want to chat, 315-437-7644. Things that stood out in the game. Ricky Collins, I was clinging on to hope that maybe third time was the charm. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Now, okay, Ricky Collins is not the guy that Syracuse fans had hoped that he was. He's not Steve Angeli. He's definitely not Kyle McCord. Probably not a power conference quarterback, at least for what the offensive scheme requires at Syracuse under Jeff Nixon. Fair. Don't know that the grass is greener with the 2 freshmen that you have at your disposal, particularly with Luke Carney. Just felt like the body wasn't physically ready to be in that moment. So I think you ride Ricky the rest of the way. But Fran said in his post-game press conference, hey, we're gonna see. We're going to see what practice looks like this week. Ricky's probably the guy, Fran said, but he said they're going to go with who gives them the best chance to win. And I said that from the get-go. I have no doubt that Fran is going to go with the guy that he feels gives him the best chance to win football games because it's a results-based industry, and that's what the goal is to build a program and win football games, right? Another takeaway from today. Thought it was the best defensive game Syracuse has played all year. 7 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. Tip the cap to Elijah Robinson and company. They had a great game plan. They got after the young 18-year-old quarterback and Heinchel on the other side. Made things difficult. Forced him to make a mistake with the interception. Didn't give up a lot of big plays at all. Looked good. Looked good defensively if you're Syracuse, and gave the offense multiple chances in this game. So that was a big takeaway. The third takeaway was this was the first time, and we spent a whole big chunk of the show post-game talking about this. This was the first time under Fran Brown I really felt like he was displaying that he's a first-time head coach. The coaching decisions that were made, and he admitted, I mean, he talked all about it in the post-game. It's a self-aware man. Said that was on him. He said, I put the team in a terrible position with the decisions that were made at the end of the first half by choosing to, instead of running the ball, passing it 3 times, taking no time off of a short 40-second clock, then instead having to punt with 18 seconds left, and the absolute worst-case scenario takes place where Pittsburgh returns the punt for a touchdown. Instead, if you run it on first down and just say, what happens? See what happens up there. Run it up the middle. Pittsburgh probably not going to use their timeouts with 30 seconds left. At that point, you're probably content taking it to the locker room. But instead, you gift Pittsburgh that situation. And instead of going down 10-7 at the half, you're down 17-7, and Cuse never was able to dig out of that hole. That was one coaching decision. The other was, playing quarterback carousel between Ricky and Luke Carney and going Ricky, then going to Luke, then going back to Ricky, but you put Ricky back in on a crucial third down play. And Fran explained he did it because he felt like Ricky gave him the best shot on that scripted play on the play chart. That was a Ricky play that they called. And so let's put Ricky back in the game. That to me is, if you're going to go back to Ricky, I guess, do it on the next series. I've never seen that before. And it wasn't like an injury. It wasn't like, he lost his helmet. You have to. Like, no. He just chose to go back to Ricky on that given third down play. And that was something I had never quite seen before. And that felt like a novice head coach decision to make in that moment. Given a quick little preview to the upcoming opponent, Cuse has got to go play Georgia Tech on the road in Atlanta. Folks, they are 7-0. They are a top 12 team in the country. Will probably hang around there, if not move up, once the AP poll comes out on Sunday, so today. They're a good ball club. Very good ball club. They can run the ball really well. Haynes King has stayed healthy this year. He's going to run the ball like 20 times a game at least. Jamal Haynes out of the backfield. They got a stingy defense. They are incredibly well coached. Brant Key is a rising star in the coaching ranks. Georgia Tech's got a really good team, and they look poised to play for an ACC championship this year. Cuse is going to have its hands full next week, but they do look vulnerable at times. And they do have their shortcomings. And they are a team that you can get if you play your best. It's going to take your best if you're Syracuse. And I don't know what their best is with the quarterback position right now. Maybe even the best isn't enough. But it would take your best to beat a team like Georgia Tech. Not impossible, though. Doesn't feel like they're a national championship contending team. Probably an ACC championship contending team. Not a national championship contending team. Georgia Tech would have to do all the right things and have things fall in their favor. I know they're 7-0, but in order to get to the college football playoffs, it does feel like Georgia Tech really would have to be fairly flawless the rest of the way. Probably room for a loss, maybe not two, depending on where the loss comes. If you're Cuse, going to take some of your best work, but they're gettable. I mean, they looked vulnerable at times against Duke today. Game would have been really different if Duke didn't fumble it on the goal line, scoop and score the other way. Georgia Tech scores down in Durham, and that's kind of how the game starts. Blue Devils put up a good fight. Georgia Tech separated late. Georgia Tech had a close battle with Clemson. Now, I think Clemson has downward spiraled and unraveled since then. So I think the Clemson team Georgia Tech got in Atlanta a little different than the Clemson team that maybe SMU got today. But certainly a team that has had close battles with teams. That Wake Forest game was their worst of the year. We're on the ropes. You could argue should have lost the game. Late call goes Georgia Tech's way instead of Wake Forest's way, and Georgia Tech ends up winning the ball game. That probably would have been the one that you point to and said that was their biggest slip up. But good teams find a way to win, right? So they say good teams win, great teams cover. They don't cover a ton, but they win. They win ball games. They're 7-0, and Cuse going to have its hands full next week. An unfortunate one in the Dome. I think what I would say is exactly what Fran said. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. You got to, if you're a fan base, continue to support, wrap your arms around him, because I do think he's different. It feels like he's the right guy, and everyone's starting to call back to the, Dino Babers era and call back to the Greg Robinson era and the Schaefer era. And, I don't agree yet. I don't. I think what you're seeing is Fran literally telling you, hey, we don't got the players this year. Last year we had the players. Very senior-laden team, a lot of experience. He's like, this team's super young, very little experience. Give us a shot to take a little bit of time here. And the recruiting classes have been fantastic. And he said those players aren't going anywhere. I trust him on that because he's a big relationships guy. If you hang on to guys like Calvin Russell, the 5-star wide receiver from South Florida, and players of that caliber, those are program-changing gets in recruiting. Let's give the man a little bit of time here. He lost his quarterback. I'm not saying Steve was perfect. I know that Steve took a minute for the wheels to get going and really catch his footing, but once he caught his footing, he looked special. You can't snuff at the fact that he was leading the nation in passing through 4 weeks and went down to Death Valley and really handed it to Clemson. That was impressive stuff. So when the right pieces are in place and you don't lose your quarterback and the team becomes more veteran as these kids get older, Demetrius Samuel's 17, Antoine Deloria is 18. As these kids get older, I think you're going to see things look more like they did last year. So continue to wrap your arms around this program if you're a fan. We appreciate you hanging out with us all day long. It really has been a blast. It always is. For Mike McAllister, Stephen Fonte, everyone that was part of the pregame coverage earlier today, for our awesome guys behind the scenes, show doesn't happen without my main man, Paul McCoy, pushing all the buttons. He's the best. Appreciate you, Paul. Jordan, of course, over in the Dome right now with the post game. He brings us the Fran Brown press conference every home game. Again, show doesn't happen without those guys. Big appreciation to them, and the biggest appreciation to you guys for hanging out and listening in. So for everybody that makes the magic happen, I'm Giovanni Heater saying good night. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll talk to you throughout the week. 30-13, the final score. Syracuse falls to Pitt in the Dome. As always, this has been Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
Hello.